I am honored to be here today to present Shane Shenaniquit with the Youth Leadership Award, which this year is underwritten by the Taskforce Youth Leadership Institute. As a 16-year-old trans, gay, and native young person, Shane lives and breathes intersectionality. He is the son of a single parent and lives in a rural community. His multifaceted identity uniquely enhances his activism. Shane has had an enormous impact at our work at MOASH, our staff, and the people we serve. One of our core values is that our work is to be youth informed. Shane has been a member of our Youth Advisory Council, My Voice, for 2 years. Prior to his official joining of My Voice, he was involved with MOASH through numerous activities. We don't have time to name all of Shane's efforts and accomplishments, but here are some highlights. Shane was active in a coalition which addressed anti-LGBTQ victimization in K-12 schools. He brought his youth perspective to the Michigan Department of Education's guidance on safe and supportive schools for LGBTQ students. He is also youth ambassador for the Tyler Clementi Foundation. Last year at Pride, he spoke to thousands of people next to Gretchen Whitmer, our current governor. And following the Parkland school shooting, he organized and led his peers in a school-wide vigil. And as a proactive advocate, Shane has founded a sibling chapter of the National March for Our Lives movement. We are so lucky and humbled that Shane has chosen to work with us. He spends his valuable time and energy creating a safer environment for Michigan's youth, and Shane is honest and transparent. He is willing to speak up, speak out, and educate. He's vocal when people should be educating themselves, and in turn abates the practice of putting that responsibility on other marginalized youth. Shane's fights for injustice and many intersecting LGBTQ issues have him speaking at rallies, conferences, sitting on panels, and participating in multi-day trainings. He has carried out his astounding activism while working at Starbucks, taking part in an extremely challenging international baccalaureate program, and applying to competitive colleges across the country. Shane is fortunate to have a fierce mother, Stella, who is his biggest cheerleader and advocate. Throughout his life, and all of her efforts have been geared towards providing opportunities for him to thrive in a safe school environment and to be his genuine self. I always look forward to working with Shane because he shares his humor, authenticity, and humility with everyone around him. From the beginning of his involvement, it's been obvious that this is so much more than a job or resume builder for Shane. His extraordinary passion and commitment to social justice has made him a huge part of the MOASH family. Shane, it's unbelievable how much you've accomplished by the age of 16. I feel privileged to witness part of your journey, and I can't wait to see how you'll continue to make a world a safer and more inclusive space. Thank you for your work, your dedication, and most importantly for being you.
This is my family. We have our ups and downs, but overall, we're pretty tight. This is my entire family. We're small, but we love and rely on each other. I would fight for them any day. We are multi-ethnic and multi-gendered. We move in love as one unit and are nearly impenetrable. We are strong. I march because my Mexican sister shouldn't have to hear chants about walls being built. I march because she works full-time and still can't afford healthcare. I march because she was forced back to work when her baby was just 3 weeks old because we don't support mothers in this country. I march because she has lost many jobs due to lack of affordable, reliable childcare. I march because my Native American brother who passes for white is learning about and acknowledging his white male privilege, like I want all young boys to do. I march because I want all young boys to learn a different narrative than the one that says women are here for men's amusement, to be grabbed and assaulted, and to be blamed for men's behavior. I march because disabled people, like my brother, don't deserve a president that mocks them. I march for my black nephew knows that his voice counts. I march because he is more likely to be killed or imprisoned than he is to go to college. I march because he too will learn to treat women as his equals, that no means no and only yes means yes. I march so he doesn't have to learn a different way to interact with law enforcement than his white peers or risk his life. I march because my Mexican niece will grow up in the same world as her mother. I march because I want her to earn the same wages as white males. I march because I want her to have the freedom to make her own choices for her body. I march so she will know that determination and hard work is what leads to success, not your heritage or the color of your skin. I march because my white mother is more than her small paycheck. I march because the world is full of parents doing it all alone. I march so that other single parents know that they are more than a statistic. I march because my mom is a strong role model, a strong ally, and a large voice. I march so I can show her that all her work was worth it.
I march for myself. I march because although I started life as a girl, I am here today as a gay, transgender Native boy. I march because I am more likely to be bullied or to take my own life than my cisgender or heterosexual classmates. I march because it is still legal to discriminate against me in housing, school, and employment in many states. I march because I am called a predator and mentally ill. I march because none of these things are true. You just wait and see what I can accomplish.
Before I get started with my planned remarks, let me throw this out there real quick. I stand with our transgender military members. No matter what he does, your service is appreciated and this fight isn't over. Thank you. Okay then. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying the conference. My name is Shane Shenanigans. I'm 16 years old, and in fact, I was born on June 28th, 2002, the 33rd anniversary of the Stonewall riots. Some say it's coincidence, I say fate. I'm from Adrian, Michigan. You probably don't know where that is, but it's right about here. I'm just a regular high school senior trying to figure out the rest of his life in the next 5 months. And I am so happy to be here with you today. The video you just saw was made in December 2016 as a part of the Women's March on Washington Youth Initiative. I was one of 35 young people globally that were selected to act as youth ambassadors for the original Women's March on Washington. I was the token male and the only openly transgender ambassador. I'm in that role fairly frequently and I'm generally okay with it. I know it's rare to meet a queer, transgender, Native American teenager who was raised in a rural area by a single parent. I'm willing to be that face in order to introduce important intersections into the conversation. It was and still is important to me to get beyond this tokenism and to work to make sure all voices are at the table. I knew that conversations about women's rights must include trans women, specifically trans women of color, because their experience cannot be understood under the general women's rights umbrella. I knew that conversations about restrictive healthcare must include discussion around the difficulty transgender people face in accessing appropriate and supportive healthcare. The Women's March mobilized millions of people and continues to do so. I am excited to watch as their scope has broadened to include these topics. I'm an accidental activist. I wasn't trying to be, it just happened. It started when at age 13, I spoke in front of the Michigan State Board of Education regarding the passing of a guidance to protect LGBT students. My mom, my superintendent, and I waited several hours for the chance to speak for just 3 short minutes. Bigots from all across the state and further came to fill the room to capacity so that supporters were unable to join. After speaking, I was approached by several people, some from local advocacy groups, some from the Department of Education, and some from local media. Little did I know, the greatest connections I made that day would stick with me for a long time. One of the greatest, most supportive people in my life, Lori Beckoffer, invited us to return months later and speak before the board voted on the guidance. We went again, waited forever again, explained the importance of the guidance again, and celebrated after it was passed. That guidance remains in place today despite a totally different political climate, and I am proud to have been a part of it. Because of what we did, Michigan schools have a reference point backed by. I was greeted with many other opportunities to advocate. My experience with extreme bullying at my school led to me becoming a youth ambassador for the Tyler Clementi Foundation. When the Parkland, Florida students put out the call, I founded Lenawee County's chapter of March for Our Lives because I believe it's important to hold our lawmakers accountable for their actions, and let them know exactly who it is that will be voting them out of office if they continue to fail to protect us. I've been honored to participate in panels and workshops that aim to train educators in a meaningful way. I've been blessed to be a member of Moash's My Voice team, where we advise and advocate for inclusive sex education and sexual health. I've shared the stage with Governor Whitmer, and I've introduced Dr. Abdul El-Sayed in his own gubernatorial race. This wasn't my plan. I didn't set out to find this path, but it found me, and I'm so glad that it did. My activism started small and grew. I've met strong, influential people on this path, and those meetings led to other opportunities. I've been able to influence others and make real change at my school, in my community, and in my state. My goal is to lead by example. I want other young people to see me and see what I'm doing and think, yeah, that's important. Yeah, I want in on that. There is so much injustice around us. There's no shortage of causes for you to advocate for. Our voices count, and when we put them together, they are loud. Standing up for what is right isn't always easy, but it is always necessary. I'm excited for my generation to clean up the messes left behind by generations before us. Please join me. Small steps make big paths, and others will follow. I'm honored and humbled to accept this award today, and I hope to continue to work to make you proud of me and to show other kids the way. We can do it. Thank you so much.
Friends, please welcome to our stage, Marco Quiroga.